everything you're looking for. If you are like bored and you want to like try something that's out of the box, something new, something interesting, chances are itch.io will have it. And like in many respects, they are excellent, free. Many of them are free. You can just hit download. And oh, by the way, every single one you download is DRM free binaries for you. You download it, it's on your drive, you hit play, you're playing it forever.
So, okay, let me ask you a question. So, like, would like Slave Zero X there? That game sounds familiar. I think I've seen that. Would that game ever be on Steam? Is that the way?
Where's Slaves are right here?
Right
yes,
there.
yes,
yes,
yes. So you'll see it. See here, play for free, and in many respects, they'll say play for free. If you want to support us, head to Steam and support us, or pay what you want, or you know. Sometimes they'll put a like a donation bucket a button there, right? So you can try that out if you want it. But yes, this is a very, very interesting site. I'm surprised that most folks don't know about it. If you are into the early or mid PC waters, this is maybe something you want to try out, right? You'll find that a lot of like top tier games either incubate here or they drop free games here. During some events, you'll see they'll bundle. You know how Humble Bundle gives you like pay what you want for like 5 games?
Yeah.
I had to pay what you want on this site for about 300 games.
Wow, that's amazing.
Like 300 games. I think this was during the whole riots with the Black Lives Matter thing, and I think they even did that with Ukraine. Anytime there's a huge event, they organize the various developers and say, hey, what can you do? And sometimes they give you like the monster bundle. Like you will never finish playing all these games in your lifetime, but here you go, $15, all of it is yours. It's just nuts.
Really cool.
And of course, some of it is what we consider fodder. Some of it you may not want to play. Some of them may be like, you know, rough around the edges. And then in between them, huge monster titles that just kind of happen to drop in here as well. So
very interesting.
If you have a chance to, these waters get real deep. I mean, really deep. I would suggest you come and you check this out. Our guest, the elusive one, Lucius Augustus, sir. I know you're early in the PC waters, and we're going to get into all that. But are you familiar with itch.io, sir?
Yes.
You are. Okay.
I have had a previous experience with the PC. Like my first PC gaming experience was, when I was a child playing games like Chips Challenge on Windows 95. So I have a pretty extensive history with PC, but typically as a gamer, I like to experience the way that console game experiences, because I just don't want to tweak and twerk. I'm a technology guy.
I hear you. Yeah.
I'm not trying to tweak and twerk all the time just to be able to play.
Yeah, you just want to play and get started.
Before we continue, though, let's just be clear. There's a difference between tweaking and twerking.
Oh, yeah.
We tweak. Yeah. We don't twerk.
That's right. And Lucius, I got a question for you.
You can twerk all you want, sir.
And Lucius, I got a question for you. So did you happen to bump into this website ever because you also had a rash, or was that just...
Oh, my God.
No.
There will be none of that. There will be none of that. Come on now.
Previously, I had, just like
exactly
Asante mentioned, when I was mostly on PC before the Series X generation, I had previously bought a few bundles from itch.io, one of them being for like the Ukraine situation and the other one for the Black Lives Matter situation. That was
so you too have the bundle that will basically last your whole damn lifetime that you've never been able to finish playing.
For a lot of them, I haven't even added the codes, because sometimes you get codes, sometimes you get full binaries, and you can install wherever you want, free, DRM free, just like Kay said. But a lot of times they also give you access to the Steam keys. And if you have access to the Steam keys, all you have to do is just import them manually. And I have yet to do that. I have yet to manually go through the list of
thousands and just, whatever the hell it is. Yeah.
I'm just not going to do that. I will probably never do that. The only reason why I put that money in there before is because I wanted to support the cause. That,
Indeed. As did I. Yep.
Yeah. So that's the reason why I did it.
Can I show you guys a game that Miss MJ Dark recommended? Let me share this with you here. Okay. This is a game that I think that he said that everybody should play. Give me a second here. Let's
get out of here. You're not gonna poison my show with ridiculousness,
so
bro.
Magical Warrior Diamond Heart, he said
you're not gonna poison the show with ridiculousness. I will now banish you to the realm. I'll banish you, sir. Stop the ridiculousness, okay? Stop the ridiculousness. Oh, and of course the presentation went away. Let me put it back. Needless to say, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the show that is called The Gamers Playground. Here on this here show, we attempt to demystify the monolith known as PCMR. We actually don't like the MR part because that has some bad connotations. We need to find a different meaning for the word, the letters M and R, something more inclusive. Yes, I said it. Something more inclusive, because we want y'all in here. These waters are fine. You need to join us. I'm your host, Mr. K. Asante, TKO Asante, and all the places we talk to each other. And of course, I am joined by the ridiculous one, the one who attempts to put slander into all that he does, Mr. John Wolf. Good evening, sir. How you doing?
Good evening, Kay and Lucius. Lucius, thank you for joining us, man, on episode 31 that we're calling Renaissance. Thank you so much, man. We really appreciate it. As always, for sure. As always, we appreciate the chat. Thank you, MJ Dark, for that recommendation. I have it written down here. Kay, I'm feeling a lot better than I was last week. I was
yes. Please speak on it. Yes.
Thanks to the grace of the big man upstairs and my wife bringing me back, I'm feeling a lot better today. Not out of the weeds yet, but I am feeling a lot better. I'm feeling like myself. Last week I was low energy, so I apologize to you and everybody in the chat. But today we're having fun, man, and we're gonna talk about a lot of fun stuff. We got Lucius here, who is always bringing that heat on Twitter DM and Discord. I love having chats with Lucius, and you know, and it's gonna be a great show.
Absolutely. Now, Lucius, I know you are the elusive one. You are the Koofy cat. I see you. I love that avatar. How about you tell us? I know you've been gaming a PC adjacent for a long time, right? I would say that's appropriate. You are PC adjacent. Yes. I know you recently delved into some waters as far as your handheld that you've been playing. Let's talk a little bit about that before we even get into all the other things. Tell us a little bit about what you purchased and why.
Okay. So in the same vein that game or console-like PC handhelds exist, like the ROG Ally and the Legion Go, there have been plenty of companies in the past that have existed that have created products like this, GPD being one of them. The GPD Win Mini is something that I've had my eye on for a very long time, primarily because I am a huge fan of the clamshell kind of experience. One of my top favorite handhelds of all time is the Game Boy Advance SP.
My man, yes,
was incredible, right?
Yes.
The fact that I still have 2 Game Boy Advance SPs in my closet that I can bust out at any moment to play multiple Game Boy Advance games shows you really how much I love that kind of design. That my love of that design kind of continued with the 3DS or the DS and the 3DS, having that clamshell, something that protects the screen. Huge fan of it.
Lucius, did you have the DSi when the DS got remodeled? Man, it was so good.
So good. So as a piece of hardware, I've always really kind of enjoyed the clamshell experience. Oh yeah, there it is.
This man
so
flexing.
Sleek, so nice.
Nice, sir. I'm gonna get one of those when I go to Japan.
Now
this man, he does a lot more than this one can be done. I'm just
saying. You can set up a 3DS real well. But I really wanted something that gave me a little more than what I was experiencing on my Steam Deck. The Steam Deck is extremely well optimized, but for some games, I just wanted to be able to push more, and I wanted to have access to my Game Pass library, right? So I was looking for a long time for something that might fit the mold, and I'm really liking this device. Obviously, no device is perfect. I can go into the negatives of this device a little later on, but let me gush about what the positives of this device are.
Really quickly, Kirby Zero Louise, thank you for being here. And that Ioneo DS is calling my name, sir.
Yeah.
I don't know. You might see me with one of them soon enough. We don't know yet, but continue. Yes.
Nice.
But yeah, like I really love the idea of having a keyboard, a full keyboard when you have to put in your password. It's as much as virtual keyboards work. I'm just not the biggest fan of them. I'd much rather have a virtual key or a physical keyboard when having to deal with like the PC experience, right? So I was looking in the market, and thankfully, shout out to MJ Dark. He's probably in the chat right now.
MJ Dark, $2 super chat. He says the wrong ally is not my ally. GPD win and Legion go.
Go play Magical Warrior Diamond Hearts.
I call him AKA the handheld master, AKA the Latin quarters, AKA Mr. What are those guys that you buy from in the middle of the woods? He's the merchant.
Yeah.
He sold a lot of people to a lot of
buying. What you selling?
Indeed. Shout out to MJ Dark. So he got you into this one, huh?
He's the purveyor of curiosities, if you will.
Yes, he's the mover. He's the mover.
He's definitely the mover, and believe it or not, there may be something on the way to me now.
Oh, sir, we already heard your fraud. Don't worry, we're gonna get to that one. We heard your fraud, sir. But continue, Lucius. What's going on?
So I was really looking forward to something like this. He hit me up. He was like, "Yo, I'm gonna sell my GPD Win Mini," because MJ Dark is the sort of dude, he loves to touch all of this technology. He
No diddy.
He loves to interact with this technology as much as possible, loves the different form factors. So he puts his own money on the line when it comes to this stuff, and he enjoys it and deals with kind of like the frontward part of interacting with these companies. And after he had it for about a month, he was like, all right, well, I'm thinking about selling this. It's been good. I'm thinking about selling this X, Y, and Z. I hit him up. I was like, yo, give me a couple weeks and I can get you whatever you blah, blah, blah. So we make a deal. He gives me a great price on it. Fantastic. He sends it over to me and I immediately get to rolling. This thing is fantastic. I love having access to my Game Pass library. Now that, believe it or not, now that I have a Windows handheld, I'm playing more solitaire, which is really fun. Like in between, like I need like a 5-10 minute break at work. Mentally, I just like,
you don't play Balatro? Come on now, like solitaire. Come on.
The problem is that a Balatro run can accidentally last.
Yeah, it can last you forever. It can last you forever. Yes,
indeed. Don't want to get into too big of a rut there. But so I'm really loving this device. I've been jumping, and this is the problem whenever you get new hardware, you jump around to so many different games. I've been playing Yakuza 0 again. This is my second time playing the game, and I love Yakuza.
We got to talk about that real fast.
Okay, yeah. So
so real fast before you keep on going.
Okay.
You told me, okay, and in our Twitter DM, you had told me, hey, John Wolf, I think that this is a very John Wolf-like game. Okay. Yes. And you told me you should give it a shot. So right off the bat, installed it. You know that I'm playing one game at a time, so I'm trying to be strict. I finally got to it. I finally got a chance to really test this thing out yesterday.
Did you watch the intro video?
Oh my God, Lucius! Right off the jump, that intro video is everything that I love about games.
Exactly. I knew. Okay, so there's gonna be some when it comes to playing that game, because it's it's a slightly older game. There are some annoying things to it, but when it comes to the subject matter, I knew 100%. It's about money, women, drugs, and
wait. That's not what I'm all about. Hold on. Hold on a second.
No. But
you got John Wolf to a T. All you got to do now is add the T and A, and you all set.
Bro, I mean, don't get me wrong.
What the game also has a little bit of that, at least.
Of course it does.
I mean, I mean, listen, this game this game screams testosterone, man.
It does.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
so
It's
good.
machismo, the video game. Okay.
Yes. This game is not ashamed of what it is. Okay,
Mhm.
and I love that. Right off the jump, it gives you a feeling and a sense of, listen, this is a world that we're gonna throw you in. Get ready for a hell of a ride. And let me tell you, so far, about 5 hours in, Lucius,
Mhm.
I really appreciate it because I always wanted to get into the Yakuza games, but I always felt like if I was already too far behind. I already felt like, oh, Grand Theft Auto is kind of like my kind of open world game. It's always been my favorite open world game. I don't know how I'm gonna like the Yakuza series. Let me tell you, the storyline so far, it in my opinion, it seems like if it's more mature than even Grand Theft Auto stuff.
Oh,
and
bro.
it seems like if it's going to be one hell of a ride. And I thank you for that, sir.
Oh, it is a ride. It is like one of the great things about Yakuza games is that they have a lot of interesting side stories, and the side stories are wild, bro. Like the main story is incredible. It's absolutely incredible, but some of the side stories are some of the wackiest things that you will ever run into in your life. To give you an example, there is a random kind of side story where you are helping a dominatrix be a better dominatrix because
There you go.
she has an inability to like insult people and everything. Yeah, like you're seeing what's on screen right now. This is a John Wolf kind of game.
I'm deciding whether or not we're gonna get demonetized, but continue, sir. Go ahead.
Listen, with I think that what Lucius has done for me is that he's turned 2024 into a very exciting year for myself because I'm gonna have all this Yakuza goodness, and Stellar Yams is coming. So, Lucius, you are the man. That's all I gotta say.
Oh man,
I knew as long as you gave it a chance, because there are some systems in there that are like, as you get closer and closer to the newer Yakuza games, they remove a lot of the pain points that some people have pointed out throughout the years, and as a gaming experience, it is better. But
can I tell y'all why I'm a fraud? I will tell you why I'm a fraud.
Oh, what's going on?
I cannot read my game.
Okay, but you want to know something? Listen, the person that taught me to get over that was my wife. Okay, and not only because I've always read comics and stuff, so I don't mind reading my
I don't mind reading. I can watch a movie with subtitles, all of that. My games, I cannot read. I don't know why.
Listen. The story is so good, but
that's my point. I feel like I miss it. Like I want to act like when I'm gaming, I'm actively engaged in the game.
No, brother,
and
but listen,
making me watch it when I should be like, I don't know. It's been.
I'm used to watching anime in Japanese, so like the ability.
Well, but that's a passive thing. You know what I mean? I can do that. That's not a problem. It's the active part that's giving me problems. I don't know.
A lot of the biggest story parts are like.
Look at that! Come on, man.
A lot of the big story parts are just like cutscenes, so you don't have to like interact with them as much.
Sure. Okay.
And so when it matters, you won't miss anything.
Okay. Yes. Okay. I want to give it a try because I hear it's a whole big thing and people really enjoy it. I like a Dragon. I played the heck out of that because it's in English. I don't have to read it. I played the heck out of that.
Hey,
I'll be honest with you. That's my fraud. Yeah, go ahead.
Can I be honest with you? Even though that some cutscenes play out, right, and that there's movement and there's acting and stuff like that, they did a very good job of, you feel like if you're reading a graphic novel, Max Payne style. I'll put it to you like that. So it's digestible. It's not like they're speaking so fast that you're like, oh, I'm trying to catch up. No. Like the characters, when they speak, like that they deliver their lines, you're able to read it, you're able to comprehend, and then you're able to move on. I'm telling you, it's like reading a graphic novel. Give it a try.
Excellent.
and you won't regret it.
Yeah.
All right.
That is one of the many games that I've been bouncing around while playing my GPD win. And
interesting.
Like this game, I've started to replay Assassin's Creed Origins. I
hold on real quick. MJ Dark, $2 super chat. He says Yakuza is life. Gajima long cutscenes. No Diddy.
no, that's fact.
No. They're not as long as Kojima stuff. I'm sorry.
They're not as long as Kojima, at least near the beginning of the game. Near the end of the game, they get like
they go full Kojima. You never go full Kojima. You know what I'm saying?
45 minutes, but it's like sometimes you'll get like 15, 25 minutes.
Do I need to go make dinner real quick and come back?
Yeah, exactly. Lucius, I do want to ask you something, and I do want to ask you a couple of questions about this device, because every time that MJ Dark always posted it in our chat, and he was always saying that he was having a great time with it. The performance, he was very happy with it. Talk to me a little bit about the ergonomics of it, because that's something that from jump, when I saw this device, I was worried
recessed thumbs. I'm not sure about them recessed thumbs. Go ahead.
I always thought that because they're like inside the device, because it's a clamshell device. Yes. I didn't think that was going to be good. But what's your experience with it? Like, would you recommend it?
So this is where I get into the issues that I have with the device, and I can go more intricately with those. But the recessed kind of thumbsticks, I'm not the biggest fan of. And what makes it even more frustrating is that the concave like circle that's sitting inside, it, in my opinion, it's not wide enough. So what ends up happening is that you end up like hitting the edge of the buttons. Range is where the wall starts.
Oh, right? I gotcha.
So now that typically doesn't impact you in a lot of games, but in a very fast-paced shooter, for example, this game isn't necessarily perfect for that. I've struggled in certain games. Like I've wanted to play around with a bunch of different games, and I kind of have. And I think for games like Halo, I was struggling in Halo Infinite in sometimes, and not because of the performance or anything, but just because of just the configuration of how everything was. Now I do have the grip.
And by the way, speak for a moment once you're done. Speak for a moment about that performance, because most people see this small little cute device and they forget that it's the monster, that it's the beast.
Yeah. Yes,
like it outshines most handheld devices. So speak on that too.
Yeah, I'll get into that. But like, the games run really well. The thumbsticks are a little weird. If you can scroll up a little bit, I want to show people something that I would really like. So right now you can see that the thumbsticks are on the edge, right? Yes. And then you have the D-pad, and then you have the face buttons closer to the middle.
Let me see if I can find
what I would really like is if the right thumbstick was where the face buttons were, and the face buttons are where the right thumbstick are.
So you want the face buttons on the edge, and the thumbsticks in the middle.
I would like
that. Makes sense.
This thing is so small that it almost feels like a controller, and both thumbsticks being on the edge feels too much like a PlayStation controller and not like an Xbox controller to me. Because when
inline instead of offset.
Yeah, and if it was still in the same inline whatever, but I could shift my thumbs a little closer to the device, it would let me grip it a little more, and that would be really helpful when it comes to shooters. But outside of shooters, this thing is fantastic, right? Another problem that I will get, this is a double-edged sword of this device. This device has just as much power as the other 7840U devices, which means that it also produces just as much heat as those 7840U devices. Now,
yes, it does.
The initial iteration of this device had some heating issues. The Fox mentioned that during his initial review.
Which, by the way, this is his preferred device when GPD. He did say it.
This
I think he even runs their Discord or something. Like he's really big into the GPD community. Yeah,
he is a part of the GPD when kind of community, but the second iteration, based off of his reactions, they did a small update on it before even the first version came out for most people. They changed something about the materials, which helped with the heat
dissipation,
and it worked a lot better. But a negative of it was you see the small little holes, not holes, but I guess like
right there, the vents.
You see
the little vents.
No, those are the speakers. But you see face buttons and you see the directional D-pad. No,
directional D-pad. Yeah.
See how there's like a thin line around the D-pad, not that circle, the actual D-pad. Yeah, so that thin line,
right there.
That thin line, heat comes from inside of the device through that thin line, and you can feel.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
radiating from.
That's a little bit much. Yeah, that's odd.
Now, I don't mind it 90% of the time,
okay.
But if I'm playing a game that requires me to press the face buttons a lot, after let's say an hour or so, it can feel a little toasty. So that would be my main want for them to address in the future, which is how do we make the thermals just a little bit better without decreasing the performance? And one of the things that they did for the 8840U model or the 2024 model of this device is that they removed Oculink, and they claim that the replacing Oculink with just a standard USB port will produce less heat inside of the unit as a whole. That's the claim. Okay. I don't have the 2024 model to be able to tell you.
It is sad that the Oculink is removed because that really was a huge benefit to them.
That is a huge benefit because but I do understand when it comes to a device this small, and what I love about the device again is you don't sacrifice anything on the screen department. It's a beautiful screen. It's just as big as what you would get on an ROG Ally or a Steam Deck or any of those. Now it's not as big as a Legion Go, obviously, but the
shout out to him. So
button, it does get a little spicy, but as overall as a device, I'm really loving this device. I feel like the main thing kind of holding me back from suggesting it for most people would be the lack of some of the software support, like on Aya Neo and on ROG Ally and a lot of those. They have software with at a press of a button allows you to be able to interact
command center and things like that.
So the GPD devices do not have a intuitive kind of setup like that. They do have like control panels, but it is very much PC centric. It is not. Sorry, what?
No, I'm sorry. Do you find yourself, I guess, having to tweak a lot on the AMD software side of the house? Is that kind of like your de facto?
What I did is a couple days after I got the device, I installed something called Handheld Companion. Exactly. Which allows me to be able to get a lot of the features that a lot of other handhelds have. Now, as you see that there's these special L4 and R4 buttons that you can set to certain things.
Program buttons, right?
Yeah, you can program these buttons, and GPD gives you the software to be able to
map it.
And Handheld Companion, they work with a lot of these handheld manufacturers, so they have a configuration specifically set for the GPD products for those specific buttons. So all I needed to do was go into the mapping software, set them to a very specific set combination, and then it instantly worked.
That's cool.
So
can you set up?
Took a little bit of time, but yeah.
Can you set up those buttons to be macros? Like, for example,
you could if you wanted. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Now, I do have 2 follow-ups for you. Do you have the ergonomic grips that you
Yes,
can
I
purchase?
do have the ergonomic grips, and I could see myself not using the ergonomic grips for certain games, but as of now, I have them on 24/7, and I really enjoy the ergonomic grips, partially because it allows me to be able to like rest my hands behind the device, and makes it a little easier to for long-term play. Like if I'm playing for more than 2 hours, it makes it so that my hand doesn't hurt as much. It doesn't give me the flat back switch effect when you're playing your Switch for a long time, and because it has
ergonomics. Ergonomics is the name of wood for the abacus. There's no such thing as
exactly.
ergonomics.
This thing was made for literally for like a child hands. So let me here.
Well, okay. You get your last question. Then. Go ahead.
Yeah, just the last question here. I looking at the device, right? I don't know if you gentlemen will agree with me. It just screams BlackBerry. I don't know why.
Okay, so
it has that old school feel. Yeah. Go ahead.
In the way that that the Ioneo products, I see them as the iPhones of these these handheld kind of space. GPD,
this would be the Android.
GPD is very much the BlackBerry, and it's not to say that it's outdated in any capacity, but it is to say that it is all business, and you will have to put in a little more effort to get some of the ease of use that you typically get from manufacturers that put more emphasis on the software. But GPD puts a lot of emphasis on their hardware. They tweak their RAM very well. They make sure to get like pretty good like chips when it comes to the silicon library. They work really hard to make sure on the hardware.
They are the closest to instruction sets that match almost Steam Deck. Like their instruction sets work really well at low PDP.
Wow, that's
better than short of Valve, which is like the reference design. GPD is the only one that comes close to being able to do more with less as far as the TDP is concerned. I was going to address that. Have you played Dragon's Dogma 2, sir?
No, and I didn't want to because
let me address that then, because your device has the same chipset as my device, and in the city, 17 FPS.
Yeah, that's what I would expect. That's what I would expect. Yeah. I think that games like Dragon Dogma 2 are truly some of the first next-gen games, and those next-gen games are really going to push the CPU intentionally. And I think that on the handheld side, for some of those games, you may want to avoid those games on the handheld side. Until Zen 5. Once we start seeing Zen 5 in handhelds, the performance jump is going to be so significant that I think that
it's going to clean things up.
Yeah, unless they patch it, of course.
So they're not patching that.
Let me say one last thing. The geniuses at GPD are able to do a lot of fantastic things, but sometimes I think that their genius bites them in the butt. And here's the reason why I say this. My understanding of my GPD Win Mini is that it is a landscape display. Now that matters. That matters because when you have a landscape display, it's one of the things that's necessary for AFMF.
Yes.
Right? Now, part of the problem that I'm running into with my GPD Win Mini are my drivers. My AMD drivers are screwing up somehow, and I don't know what
Are you sure those are landscape that landscape displays?
That's what I'm going to get into. So I've installed the drivers from AMD, and whenever I get them from AMD, the newest ones, they are a little bit funky. But when I go back to the GPD drivers that they provide, those are
fine.
Old, so they don't have AFMF in there. And obviously there's months of optimization when it comes to drivers that you always want. So I don't want to stay on those older drivers, but those older drivers are the only way that I can get some of the AMD functionality, the additional functionality to work on the back end, because when I install the newer drivers on my handheld, it seems as if like things start breaking. And the reason why things are breaking is when you start a game and have that the AMD adrenaline pops up for like a millisecond and then it disappears. So that thing, rather than displaying properly, is displaying almost as if
on the bottom
screen is a portrait screen. So it's like doing this weird thing.
Let me ask you a quick, easy way of finding out.
I think they go inside
a quick, easy way to find out.
Okay.
If you right click your display and you check your display where you can make changes to your display, whether it be portrait, does it say landscape flipped?
No, it doesn't. So this is why.
It does not.
Is why I say that the geniuses at GPD are too smart for
they have kind of put a landscape a portrait display in and kind of fudged it to make it not think it's a landscape portrait display, but it actually is.
Exactly. They went into the firmware of the screen itself and played around with it so that way it displays as landscape. But the reason why I know that, or I have indications inside of my mind that it is not a true landscape display, is when I delete, because I'm the type where it's like, all right, something's going on with my drivers. Let me wipe.
Let's figure this out.
Off. Let me wipe the drivers off and then install it again. When I wipe the drivers, what happens? My screen auto goes into portrait mode.
Yes, it does.
And I'm just like, that's curious.
That's what it is. Its default state is portrait.
Yeah. And when I go into the display settings and play around with it and set it to landscape again, even without the new drivers, it'll be like, oh, landscape normal. It won't say landscape flipped. So there's something happening on.
Well, they've changed in the firmware. They have made instruction set changes.
Yes,
but it's not native. And because of that, it keeps screwing up. Yes. I know this because my beast of a machine that I love so much, you guys see me play with it all the time. Pause. My A1 Pro has a landscape display, has a portrait display. Stop it. Has a portrait display. And as much as I love that device, that is my number one pain point. I hate the fact that it's a portrait display. And because of that, I have to do all this fudging to get AFMF work. And a lot of fudging.
Makes me mad. What makes me slightly mad about it is that GPD tells you that it's a landscape display.
They're lying to you.
That is, and once again, I could be wrong. Maybe there's just something wrong with the AMD drivers. Maybe 2 or 3 updates in the future, everything will work out fine for me.
I'll tell you definitively they're lying to you, because what you're describing is exactly what happens on my device, where the overlay falls, how it defaults support. That is exactly what happens here. And these guys aren't lying to me. They're telling me that it's a portrait display. So what your guys did was they went into the firmware instruction set and changed the name to make it look nice, but it's still a portrait.
The ROG Ally doesn't have none of these problems. So
let us not talk about the ROG Ally, because it can't play any of these games at all. It cannot play Dragon's Dogma at all.
If you install those drivers, maybe it will.
So you know what? Let's pivot a little bit. Let's pivot for a moment. I know you've been playing a lot of games.
I have.
On your GPD Win Mini. You've been having a good time. How about we pivot and have you talk to me about High Water, which you are also playing on your GPD. Am I wrong?
No, I've been actually playing this on my Xbox because
interesting. Okay.
For some reason, my Wi-Fi at my house is having weird issues with remote play. So I was like, oh, this is a slow enough game. I could play it via remote play. And unfortunately, this game isn't play anywhere. So when I got the Xbox code, it only worked for the Xbox. It didn't give me access.
Yes. It didn't give you access to the Indeed. Well, before we even get started there, let me first off say that this code was provided to us via Keymailer by the fine folks at Riot Games. Well, is it Riot? Let me make sure I get that right, because I don't want to mess up the name here. I will find their names. They are the same developer that made The Cub, which you guys have heard us talk about on this show and other shows. I have really loved their indie flair and their output. They do some super interesting thing. Rogue Games is the name of the studio. And it seems like they released High Water and The Cub so close together. They have certain assets that are almost similar, but it's been an interesting experience. You tell me what your experience has been with it, Lucius.
Yeah, so I've had about 4 hours in the game, and
so about half of the game. It's a short
yeah,
game. I think it's about
yeah,
7 hours max.
yeah, 7-8 hours is about how long it is. So I'm about halfway through the game. Just 30,000 foot view of it before we go into intricate details. It is definitely one of those more artsy fartsy sort of games. It's trying to not push a message, but it's trying to convey a message to you. Post-apocalyptic kind of setting where everything's flooded, and the music is fantastic. I love the music.
It gives you the GTA mood setting vibe.
Yes,
but the music they choose is far more it's far more relaxing than maybe hip hop or something. It's a very interesting kind of setting while you're playing. And oh, by the way, real quick, so that you know, the Cub is I would say Highwater is the prequel to the Cub. So the Cub, real quick, people from Mars come back to Earth and find that humans are still alive, and they're trying to figure out why humans are alive after the world has been polluted. In this game, the world is almost at its end, and rich people are have a rocket, and they're trying to get to the moon, and as part of this game, are going to try and find the rocket ship they use and sneak on board so you can escape with the rich people. Right. So this is a prequel you're playing to the Cub. Continue, sir.
Yeah. So it's like I said, it's a very interesting game. A lot of the times it kind of gave me Fallout vibes because it's in the post-apocalyptic kind of theme, and the music and the radio are reactive to what you're doing inside of the world. So as you're getting past certain flags, certain markers inside of the story, as you're like kind of looking around for new items and such, you'll hear on the radio them reacting to what's happening, how certain people are reacting to the world. And Kay mentioned it, this idea that a bunch of rich people have polluted the world, and now they're using all of the resources that they have left to build a rocket ship to take them off planet, right? And just everything is kind of on the nose when it comes to the theming, so it won't be lost in translation in any way. But I will say this is a very good game. It's not perfect. There are some flaws. I can definitely say that there are some flaws, but this game knows what it wants to be, and it achieves that. And once one of the things that can be pretty difficult is the combat. The combat is turn-based, but it's also grid-based in the world. And you don't get to dictate how you approach the combat scenarios. The combat scenarios are set. So sometimes that means you walk into a combat scenario, and before you get to move, the enemy takes 2 pot shots at you.
Yep.
So you're in a situation where it's like, all right, I have to try to figure out how to navigate this in a way that I'm not going to get clapped up, because the combat in here, I would not say is hard, but it's
a puzzle.
Yes. So like
it's a puzzle,
if you don't do the right things, or if you can't analyze what's going on in a situation, it's not going to work out well for you. And it's not like the combat is complex. It's very simple, but each move is important.
Yep. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, the reason why I may be looking down is because this is not a recording. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm playing this live right now on my A1 Pro.
Oh, no wonder that character's all over the place. Okay.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. Yeah. Schmuck. Yeah. So yes, this is live gameplay of me. And my A1 Pro is here connected. It's a hodgepodge of a connection situation. But yes, as you can see, while he's talking, I am literally started the game from scratch, and we're just kind of going through it. But yes, continue.
The,
Is this something you recommend to people? Do you expect this? Like, I don't know, and I will say that for right off the bat, I don't know if this game will make its way to consoles. Right now, both this, I think the Cub is on PlayStation now.
I played this on Xbox.
No, he's playing it on Xbox. Yes.
Oh yeah, he is playing this on Xbox. So and the Cub made its way to PlayStation. It did not make its way to Xbox, which is kind of sad because it is the next game in this universe.
Yeah.
And as Mr. Joanna Dark also pointed out, there is another game, a golf game, literally a golf game of those aliens who are now humans who are now Martians, who are playing golf. So they have 3 games in this universe.
So, gentlemen, I have a question for you. Looking at the gameplay here and knowing the high praise that a lot of people have given the Cub. Lucius and Kay and Kay, I'll let you answer this first, and then Lucius, you can answer and continue your train of thought. Would you say that it's worth it from a story perspective to definitely invest in playing the Cub and this, or this and the Cub? Because I think you said this comes first, right? And then the Cub does?
Yeah.
So I will tell you, and Lucius, have you played the Cub? I don't know if you have.
I have not, and this has given me more interest to play it because I like some of the world building that this game does. So for me, just playing one gives me interest in playing the others. I don't know if I will because this year is jam packed with games. Of course. I had to squeeze some time in just to be able to play this specifically, but I think that for people who are okay with who enjoy these sort of games will enjoy this experience, but I don't know if I can recommend this for everyone as much.
So what I will tell you the Cub is a platformer and it has the same vibe and the same story. I love this game. I think this game is great, but it's because I've played the Cub. The Cub is so genius. It came out of nowhere and blew me away. It is like this small amuse-bouche of perfection. The style, the music. It's a platformer, so it's very easy to understand and grok what you're trying to do. There is no actual combat in the game. You're avoiding a combat. So most of the game is the aliens who were humans, right? Who are now into Mars, and now the world has evolved beyond their capabilities, so they can't breathe in Earth atmosphere anymore. They're chasing you, so you're like playing with them, and the whole time there's a narrative going on. It's that one I think is a more complete package than this is, but that informs this so much that it made me enjoy this even more.
So this is very.
So I know it's hard for you, Lucius, but I think you should try the Cub. It's so good. It's so good.
This definitely feels more like a prequel than anything. And like I said, the storytelling is pretty good. I think the world building is fantastic. I think the world building more than anything, it immediately got me in to be like, all right, we're inside of this zone. The people that you meet, they have all these very specific personalities, and each character that you bring into your team, either temporarily or permanently, each one of them has a very specific personality that makes sense with the combat style that they utilize.
And speaking of the combat, this is what we're talking about here. It's basically a people puzzle. You get there. Obviously, the red part is where you hone in for attack. You have to get there, and when you get there, then you have the ability to use your weapon. You smack them in the head. It looks easy. It's really easy right now, but boy, it gets people puzzle complicated when you get it.
Scales very quickly. One of the fights that I had the biggest issue with is one where there was 2 bears, and those two, like, essentially it was like a 3-way fight where I walked in with my teammates, and the enemies were already fighting these 2 bears in the woods. So like it depends on what I do in that situation, because if I attack the bears, then I could get the attention of the bears if I'm too close. But if I start attacking the people, then the people will stop attacking the bear and focus on me. So
focus on you. Yes.
Chance of when to use certain abilities, whose abilities to use X, Y, and Z. And at the end of the day, it only matters as long as you have one person standing. So if at the end of the battle, you have 2 people knocked out, but like you killed everybody else, then you're totally fine. You still win.
This sounds to me like it's very like this game. It sounds to me like it's very additive. If you've played the Cub, kind of like in the same way when you read the last Ronin.
And that's probably why they released the Cub first.
I was thinking
before releasing this. Yeah.
Yes. So think about it like this: like in the comic world, right? They released the last Ronin first, and then they released the prequel after for you to fill in the gaps. This is probably doing the same thing.
Yeah, most likely. Interesting. But yes, this again, we received a code from Keymailer from Rogue Games. They provided the code to us. We appreciate them doing so. It is awesome. I loved the Cub. I thought it was like a perfect amalgamation of indie spirit and creativity. The music is amazing. And a lot of that is here.
This game is so good. I don't know who they.
A lot of that is here. The same voice person that does this music does the same same radio station, right? Different music, same radio station.
Are on point because it's supposed to. The game is also a meta commentary in some ways about like society and everything else. And one of the
they're definitely sending a message. Yes.
One of the things that's really funny is like. I won't get into the specifics of it, but like in the radio, they get into, hey, why is it that there's like this giant spaceship looking thing over here? And the rich people are just like, oh yeah, don't worry about that. That's not a spaceship. That's actually like a place for us to store grains. And it's just like, okay, sure. But why would you need a place to store grains and also be bringing in hundreds of thousands of pounds of jet fuel? And the rich people are like, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that.
Yes.
While you were in the water there, Kay, I was secretly hoping that this all of a sudden turned into Man-Eater. You know, with the sharks jumping all over the place and stuff like that.
No, it's definitely not that type of game, sir.
Oh, okay,
it is. Like I said, you have to be the type of person who likes these sort of games, and if you are, this game is very good.
It's different. It's definitely
different. It is. So you know what we'll do? Let us transition a bit, because as you guys have been seeing, I've been playing this game. It's fun. I've really been enjoying this game, and I've actually finished it, and then I restarted from scratch to play some more, and I wanted to show it to you. Now, first off, I will say, if you see the screen's a little bit blurry, it's because the capture card I'm using only has has a certain set of resolution. And because of that, the A1 Pro is matching it. The A1 Pro can do much more, but because it's outputting this way, it's doing that. But we will transition from this topic and talk a bit about what I'm playing it on and how I'm able to play it. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk a bit about, because Lucius, you were talking about how your GPD Mini, right? GPD Win Mini, I should say. The interface needs work, right? You were able to put handheld companion on it, and now you have access to TDP ranges and things that you need. What you're looking at right now on your screen is my A1 Pro. If I hit the button, it brings up its TDP moniker. I've set it to max because I have it plugged in. Otherwise, it's usually at like 15, 20, somewhere like that. That's where I usually like to live. But I brought this out because, as you guys probably have heard, if you've seen me on Twitter or whatever, I posted a video of the early stages of this little project of mine, where I wanted to create a UI, right? I wanted to create an environment where you boot it up, you're in Windows, but you're not in Windows. It doesn't see Windows. You can launch any game you want. Bang, bang, bang. You're in the game. You're playing it. You're done. You get out of the game. You're back in here. You never see the desktop.
Rumor has it that you coded this. Is that true?
See, and you keep with the slander. Stop it. The man made a mistake. We talked about it. Stop it. Don't continue that ridiculousness.
Needless to say, I only saw the original tweet. I thought you coded it. My bad.
Needless to say, what you're looking at is a more complete version of what I initially started. As you can see, and all the things you see, all the elements you see in here, you can customize. So because you see the Epic Game Store, that's because I put it there. You see most played games because I put it there. Steam, Retro, all those places, I'm the one who went in there and went, yeah, I want here, I want there. Now you go to certain things and you get certain things. You know what I'm saying? You go to the other place and you get other things, and they're all there. And if you choose to play one, you just go there, you hit play, and a few minutes later, you're in there, right? Like, for example, here is Pepper Grinder, which is another game that's been keeping me pretty busy. When you load it up, you see the interface. Before, when the video I produced, I showed, it had only the background. You saw the animations, that's it. Now, after a bit more tweaking, no twerking, stop that, Lucius, only some tweaking. You can do all the twerking you want, sir. I'm just doing some tweaking. Now, not only do you get the background, you also get a synopsis of what the game is about. You get a synopsis of what the gameplay looks like and all of this. So, and then you want to watch the whole video, you can put it away and watch the whole video. If you're like, okay, this game is something I want to play, you hit play, right? And it will start loading the game in the background. So that when the game starts, you don't see the desktop. See, as you see the cool little animation. It puts the logo there, and then the game will load on top of all of this, right? Now, it's Windows, so it'll always start a little bit weird, and then bam, there you go, right? You're playing the game, you're in the game, you're having fun, you're doing whatever you're doing.
Damn command prompt popping up out of there.
I mean, honestly, all that can be done. I would just have to go in the background and put a full screen flag. If you put a full screen flag, it'll start full screen from jump. I just don't care. I see it, it's fine, no big deal. I move on, right?
Okay,
if you really cared, you could totally do that.
We did miss a super
I'm
chat.
sorry.
No, it's okay.
Yes.
MJ Dark, when I was, saying my my ROG Ally slander, he 199. Thank you, MJ Dark. Let's not talk about ROG Ally. ROG Can I Ally? PC advocates. Sir, you don't know what you're talking about. We appreciate the
Hey.
Come on, man.
Although he is producing slander, the moves you have recently made seem to suggest that he is right, but we'll get to that one.
Listen, my recent moves have nothing to do with denying anything. It's all about growing the collection.
Yeah, sure it is. Sure. So as you can see, here it is. I'm playing the game. I'm moving and shaking, right? The time comes. I don't want to play the game anymore. I get out. You say, you want to exit? Yep, I want to exit. Hold up. I say exit. And then it goes away. It pops up the desktop. But then moments later, bam, it comes back up. You can actually even set it up so that it doesn't go down. It stays in the background all the time, and then it'll switch. But
I have a
as
question.
you can see,
go
ahead.
ROG slander. The ROG Ally almost hit the price point that I would be willing to buy it because it was for some there was like
$299. Yes.
$299. But it was for
but it's the non-Z version.
Yeah, I wanted the extreme version, and if I could get the extreme version for $300, then I will buy it because then I will only use it. I will only use it for first-person shooters.
Okay, stop making that face.
So I'm about to look. I am about to actually you, sir, because let's be clear. The Z is the Z Extreme is anything but extreme. It is far less powerful than your 7840U.
I understand that. But the reason why if I were to buy one, I would not want to buy the Z1 model. I'd want to buy the Z1 Extreme.
Yes. Yeah. That's definitely the move. Yes.
And if they could sell me the Z1 Extreme model for $300, I will buy it because I don't see value in the ROG Ally outside of what I already have because I already have a Steam Deck. I already have my GPD Win Mini, right? So I already have my Windows device and I already have whatever. If I were to buy it, I would only buy it for playing games like the Finals, playing games like Halo Infinite. Those games, I think that
you mean real games? Gotcha.
I think the thumbstick situation.
The power resources have a problem with that. 16 gigs of RAM, and I have tried to make the ROG Ally.
I have 64 gigs of RAM in my GPD Win Mini.
I have 64 gigs of RAM in my A1. So when you go to 16, you're just like, it's debilitating.
No, it's not.
You know what I'm saying?
No, it's
not.
So
that's why I'm just like, okay, only for those first-person shooters that.
Well, see, I would only use it for indies. I would use it for the Cub and things like this alone because that is more than enough overhead. If you're playing Halo Infinite on that thing,
Halo Infinite might have a little, but I play Halo Infinite on my Steam Deck sometimes. So like that.
Sure.
Right? So like
sure. Okay.
And drop it down to Steam Deck.
Listen,
sure.
The Finals runs really.
Bro, stop spending the Asus bucks, man. Move forward.
Listen. The only
I see the Legion Go in your mail right now. Calm down, sir.
The only negative thing that Asus did with the ROG Ally was the battery. Everything else and the SD card slot. Everything else has been
and the
superb.
16:9 screen that's crushing Windows that you can barely
No,
interface
it's
with it.
perfectly fine. So I have a
hate
question.
that 16:9 screen.
I have a question for you, sir, about this wonderful application you have here. Which, by the way, I gotta compliment you. This looks really good. When you're like right now, click on a game, for example. That community score and critic score, where's that coming from? If you know.
So all of these are plugins that are in the background, and if we really need to get the tutorial land, we can do that at some point. And basically, when you download those plugins, they tell you, hey, we're pulling this from, like, it's the equivalent of a movie studio pulling their score from Rotten Tomatoes, right? They have scores from, and I can't tell you exactly which one this one is pulling it from, but they pull clip art. They pull, as you see, they pull synopses. Some of it is pulled from Discord. Some of the critics review is pulled from Metacritic. The community reviews are pulled from elsewhere. Like each plugin has where it pulls its data from, and it brings it all together.
It's an aggregate.
So all your basic,
Gotcha.
Exactly. All it's doing is pulling from various sources. Dr. Dry Rub, nice name, sir. No Diddy. Asks the question: how heavy is this on the system resources? I would say not that bad. I've loaded this on and you can tweak it a little bit. I've loaded this as I already said. This has 64 gigs of RAM. It has a lot of overhead, so it's fine. I've loaded this on 16 gigs of the ROG Ally. You then have to decide that you don't want the HD video. You don't want the HD level resolution of the images. You can scale it back, and because of due to the scaling back, it makes it a bit more palatable. On this guy, I have it full bore because it can handle it, right? You can always kind of tweak a little bit how much resources to give it, because if you go overboard, it can be stuttery if you're not paying attention. So it is, even in that realm, there is maneuverability in it. I actually will show you something else, but before I do, let's get these two super chats from the man, Mr. MJ Dark. He says, Republic of Abacus ROG Ally.
He's just trying to shift over the negative connotation that we have with the Switch to the ROG Ally.
And then he said, Mr. MJ Dark with a $2 super chat says, John Wolf, I know what you did this Sunday.
Yeah, I bet you do. Because this man out here is selling the goods, okay?
The Latin quarters, man. It's the Latin quarters. What you gonna do? Like, this man deserves his own shop. I'm still working on that. We are going to work on getting Mr. MJ Dark's shop on the Discord, so you can come there and move and shake and see what his wares are. I really want to set that up, right? You know what I'm saying?
He's great at it too, let me tell you.
Absolutely, yes. So this is what I had posted online, and folks really took to it, and people really enjoyed it. What I will do is show you that, and to be honest with you, I literally posted this to show folks that, hey, these things are out here. There are options to be able to do this, and clearly tutorials are necessary. Give us some time. Maybe one of the episodes we'll dig into the background and really show you all the meat and potatoes, as it were, of how to do this yourself. But once you do, maybe you won't be asking Microsoft to release a new front end to help the issues anytime soon.
At this point, it's begging. At this thing point, works. It's just begging, Kay. It's begging.
But let me show you another option. So this is Play Night, as you see. You've seen how it all works, right? You can load this up from day one. It'll boot up with Windows. You'll never see the desktop. It's just that way. I choose not to do that because I'm tweaking. I'm deciding between the one I like the most. This, you see, is my desktop. This is my desktop. I'm not working. No, I'm not. I'm tweaking. There's a difference. Big difference. Besides the Play Night store aggregator, there is another aggregator called Big Box. So I will load that one up for you now. Now, to Dr. Dry Rub's question of how do the resources work there, this one is far heavier on resources for some odd reason. And you'll see why I say it's odd, because as you saw with the other one, there's a lot of animation, there's a lot of moving and shaking there. This one is, but it's smooth, yeah. This one, as you can see, also gives you smooth animation and this and that, but this is a little heavier on resources than the other. But it's also quite cool. As you see, like when you load, again, this is all based on background customization and plugins and whatnot. like let's say you want like on here now, as you can see, I have Windows games, I have emulated games, old school games, things like that, right? So you pick one and it'll like I don't have the audio going, it'll literally play music and start giving you a synopsis of what it is. This is Windows and this and that. My favorite one, believe it or not, is Xbox. As soon as you load it up, it gives you the coolest, because it loads up the old reminds you of the old school sound, and then you see the Master Chief and the music in the background. It's awesome. They do a really good job. This is like really cool stuff that the community has put a lot of time and effort into, right? But the key here is you select what you want, right? And just like with the other one, you select what you want, you go into it, and here it is. I have Redfall in there.
Do you really have that game
Prince
installed?
of Persia? Of course I do. Yes, I have that in there. Bro, I'm a gamer. I game wherever possible. I enjoy playing my game.
No, I don't blame. I'm not questioning that. What I'm questioning is
and
your
I heard
of games.
And I heard that Redfall is getting a little bit better with time, so I wanted to check it out.
Yeah,
so
in 10 years it'll get
that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, and 10 more years.
Calm down, sir. You would never know that because you're busy slandering instead of finding out if they've done better. You got to calm down.
Trust me. I can.
Needless to say, well, how should I trust you if you don't have it installed? How would you know? But needless to say, we're moving forward. So you select the game just like the other one, right? And here it is. It also has different interfaces. Now, what makes this one really cool is you can do like 3D models. You can see the box art and stuff. You can like check manuals. It goes really, really deep. You can do achievements. Yes, I said it. You can get achievements. They have community achievements, retro achievements that you can sign up and be a part of. And then when you hit play, much like the other one, it just gives you a load screen. You give it a little time, and then the other one, the game in the background will load, right? And then you start playing your game. You start enjoying your game. Again, I didn't hit the full screen flag, so it starts small and then blows up, right? And then you're playing your game. You're having a good time. And of course, as you see, you have Steam in the background because these are all actual Steam games, right? Or whatever emulated game or whatever you happen to be playing. It's able to this is able to happen with any game you happen to put in it. itch.io, whatever it is, Epic Game Store, right? After you're done, you enjoy your game, you don't want to play it anymore, you get out of it, and you're back to, hold on here, let me get back. Of course, it's slow because I'm looking at this screen and it's slower than this screen. It's weird. Anyway, there's a little bit of a delay. So you get out of it and it's back to the front. You never see your desktop.
That looks great.
And you could just roll through it one after another. So, it's quite cool. I have been enjoying my time. Like, first, I've been enjoying my time tweaking this thing, enjoying my time getting it to work just the way I want. Yes, there are some old school heads in the crowd that know the games that I enjoy.
Oh yeah.
You know what? I'll play this one just for you.
Oh,
sir.
you know what? You just made up for that Redfall, sir. That's I tip my hat. Forget what I said.
Yes.
You have a great. You have a great.
Yes. Yeah. Now, I when I emulate games that are hard to find on other platforms. Like this game is very hard to find on other platforms. It was stuck on my Xbox for a long time until I dumped it.
This is a great game.
If it's available elsewhere, why bother? But if it's not available elsewhere, that's what I do. There's a bar on top, not because it has to be there, but because I choose to keep it there. I like to go in the background and play. Yeah, see, it'll ask you like, hey, do you want to join Xbox Live? I'm like, no, I do not want to join Xbox Live. That is a thing of many years ago, and that no longer exists. You know what I'm saying? So stuff like that, it's not going to be a perfect experience from day one, that's for sure. But at the end of the day, like, you can use these things and get the job done, play your games without having to worry about it.
Okay,
I see Mr. Yeah. I see Dr. Dry Rub with a $5 super chat. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. He says on the ROG Ally, will the Armory Crate window come up or do they block it? So on the ROG Ally, the Armory Crate window is set up because you have it set up by default. If you have something like this set up, you can literally minimize that ROG Ally, the Armory Crate, and it never shows up. Like this one, you think that this is the interface. This is the interface because I've set it up that way, right? So let me show you what this thing actually comes with. So when you buy an A1 Pro, right, you get one of these. Hold on, let me switch to desktop, or actually exit. I'll exit. All right, so this is my desktop. if you happen to buy the A1 Pro, this is what it looks like. This is their interface. I don't like it. It's kind of boring. It's hard to change covers if you want to. It's a very manual process. These are like a bunch of games that are on my system, and the good thing about their aggregator is it will definitely just like draw in. It'll scan your information and pull it all in. But this is literally what comes with it, right? And you can go in and you can change your mapping, and you can do a bunch of different other things. Oh, actually, you see that little dot on the little red dot on the corner of the guy there? That means there's an update.
Ooh, nice.
The last time there was an update, do you know what I got? I got in-game trainers where if it sees a game, it pops up. It's pretty darn cool. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what that new update is. But my point that I'm making is whether you're using the Legion Go and their software, the MSI Claw and its software, the whatever software you're using, if you don't like it, you can literally go with one of these, customize it, and then minimize the others, and they'll just pop up whatever you want them to.
We have a follow-up, sir.
Okay. Oh, he means the buttons to adjust power profiles. That too can be modified. So like I like keeping this command center around because it's just there and it's available and I can use it to do what I do. But if I wanted to get rid of it, I could decouple the mapping from that button and then put it to, I don't know, handheld companion like Lucius has, or whatever I want.
Tweaking and twerking that people don't like, you know?
Tweaking, sir. Tweaking.
We got one more follow-up.
Yeah. Do I have Shadow of the Damned? I actually have it in my collection somewhere. I haven't played it in a long time. That's a
great game.
But Lucius, I will address what you're saying and say honestly, like if you like the tyranny of the default, you can keep it. Like I haven't changed this, right? Because it just works. And I just move on, and that's that, right? If I wanted to change it, I totally could. My point is you have options, right?
Yeah,
you always have options.
That's the
so
benefit
you don't have to be stuck with what you have. Absolutely. But now, so this is some of the stuff we're working on.
We've been stuck on hardware and handheld talk for about an hour. Let's continue the handheld talk with a very specific story that came out this week.
Okay.
Phil Spencer.
Which story is that?
Phil Spencer. Handheld. And talking about how much I love these like Windows handheld, and I love the fact that he dogged on Windows.
Yes, he did, and then he called out his own game for not having cross save. I'm just like, bro, you could have fixed that. What's wrong with you?
Well, so you give him smoke and say, hey, you have the ability to fix that, and I see it as that is a perfectly well-crafted move, because if you would have said any of the other hundreds of games that have that problem, they would have come after you. Yeah, well, more of like you'd be making issues with the people who are partners with you,
the people who are your partners. So you can only dog yourself.
He did say
you can only point to things where you get it wrong as a way to be able to show, hey, these are things that we want in the future.
But he did say that he does have a huge laundry list of things that make it feel Windowsy, you know, and basically like what you're saying, Lucius, he didn't want to dog the other devices, and they were kind of like front ends and stuff like that. But he kind of echoed, and he kind of echoed what everyone in this space has been talking about, that like the Steam Deck is right now the reference design. It is the all end all be all, but as you can see, like what Kay Asante has shown us today with Play Night and with Big Box, it's getting close. It's getting really close. And Kay Asante, I'm telling you right now, I'm going to be trying this.
Somebody stop me. Somebody stop me. I'm falling into the trap.
Why do you play Redfall better? That'll get you to stop real fast.
I want more people indoctrinated into the Velatro.
Oh man.
Because people
have this game everywhere. It's amazing. Oh, I love this game.
On this game's name, it is.
That's right.
If you want to get him to stop, just play Redfall for a little bit. You'll stop real fast.
Oh, would you cut it out? Calm yourself. Anyway, yes.
So it's getting really close now. Let me ask you something, Lucius. From everything that you've seen, like Kay show off today, I know that for us specifically, especially on our DM, we're always talking about what a dream it would be to have a actual Xbox handheld made by Microsoft proper. But we gotta be honest, guys. If we put a little bit of work into it, I bet you that
I don't want to put in the work.
No, I got you, and I understand that, but here's the thing.
I want to turn on.
This is
okay. Let me tell you about the small I told you about all the great things. Let me tell you about all the weird stuff.
Tell me about the bad stuff. And while you do that, I'm playing Blatro. Go ahead.
I'm going to show you step by step. All right, my PD1 mini is off, completely off. I turn it on. I get into Windows very quickly because M.3 SSD, like very, very fast SSD. Cool. Get into Windows. I have to wait a few seconds because for handheld companion to activate, which is fine.
Yeah.
But there's a bug in my installation of handheld companion where I have to go into handheld companion and turn off something called I can't remember what it's called, but it essentially switches my controller into an interface that's like a mouse, and it creates
there's the Winds mask. There's a software for that. Yes, continue.
So I have to it's very quick, but I have to open up handheld companion and disable that, and for some reason it will not remember my settings and just remember it forever. So cool, great, done. I want to play Diablo. Cool. I go into this was a weird problem, and it took me a while to figure out exactly what caused it. So if I try to open up the Xbox app and then open up Diablo, it does this weird thing where apparently Xbox installed its own instance of BattleNet rather than checking to see if I had BattleNet installed.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it'll always do that. That's what Windows will do because of the tie-in with BattleNet for Diablo. Like there's a specific variant of BattleNet it needs. So even if you have a version installed, it will try and overwrite it.
Yes. So at least if you launch it from the Xbox app, and it took
from the Xbox app, that's right.
It took me a while to figure out why I was having this weird like sign-in issue with my BattleNet. I was like, "What's going on? This is so weird."
It's the launchers. That's
so
the problem.
what I have to do is essentially launch, because I've already established the connection between the Xbox app and BattleNet. So BattleNet has the intricate, it
knows your IDs,
right. So it has the information that it needs. So as long as if I know I want to play Diablo 4, all I need to do is open up BattleNet and then launch Diablo 4, and then everything's perfect. But if I launch Xbox and then try to launch Diablo 4, it will close my background instance of BattleNet, and then when it creates its own instance of BattleNet to be able to sign me in, it then creates a login issue when I close my device and then come back later. It's like, oh, I can't figure out what's going on. You need to sign out so that way you can sign in again. Those sort of small annoying things is something I
very annoying
when I'm on my console, because I look at my Diablo 4 icon, I press A, it launches,
and it just launches. That's right.
Right.
Yes.
Now it doesn't matter that I have the knowledge to be able to fix all of this stuff. It's still annoying.
It's still annoying. Absolutely it is. No, you get no argument from me. And we need to live in a world where the official solution is better than the DIYs that we deal with.
That's why there is a reason to have an Xbox handheld. It is not simply, and this is why when a lot of people are just like, oh yeah, just create like this Xbox OS from Windows sort of thing. I was very cautious about this. You remember the conversations that we had, Kay, with like everyone. I was very antagonistic against this because I didn't like the idea of starting from Windows, because you start from Windows and that means
it comes with the cruft.
It comes with everything else. If you start from Xbox, if you start from that end of the spectrum and think, all right, we already have this kind of split up ecosystem where everything's in its own hypervisor and everything else. All we need to do is repackage Windows in a way that it can be inside of its own container, and then we just add that on top of what is already existing on Xbox. That is a much better solution than from Windows trying to create the Xbox experience. That's going to be atrocious.
We shall see. Honestly, there will be time where we will all be made aware of these plans. I hope it's rather sooner rather than later. But you know what? Before I keep playing this and completely lose the thread on the show,
is that Ronald McDonald?
Mr. John Wolf.
He does
it does definitely looks like Ronald McDonald. Mr. John Wolf, I know you wanted to talk a bit about AFMF and what you've done with it.
Yeah,
on your ROG Ally. So maybe let's pivot to that. Do you want me to share my screen to share some footage of that, or can I keep playing?
No, you can keep on. You can keep on playing. No, you keep on. You keep on there. You're having a good time.
Okay, let's go.
So,
all right.
So AMF. Okay. So the fluid motion frames. It's something AMD has been touting as like their big, I guess, give back to the community. Just something that I think is fantastic to be honest with you, because they've guaranteed more frames without the need kind of what Nvidia does, which is
it's kind of cheating though. It's kind of cheating.
Absolutely. But I will tell you this: for the game that I tried, it was for Yakuza 0. Okay. It absolutely works. It is awesome. It's listen, it's gonna be hit and miss from all the reviews that I've seen. There's some games that it just works better than others. There are some people that are going to be more sensitive to it than others, the lag and stuff like that. But for the most part, I have not run into one instance yet playing Yakuza 0 where it has been an issue. Okay.
Speaking of Yakuza 0, make sure that in your settings for Yakuza 0, you don't have SSAO on. That's super sampling anti-aliasing, which what it'll do is that it'll render your the internal resolution at a much higher rate. So when I loaded up Yakuza 0 on my GPD Win Mini, it set it to like SSAO times 4, which that's like it
crush.
It was for you guys who may not understand what that means. It was super sampling the resolution 4 times. So it was 1080p resolution times 4. That's
4K.
It's essentially trying to do a 4K display. And I was very surprised. That 7840U was still pushing like 40 frames a second, despite being at like SSAO times 4. And I was like, this is insane. I put it down to 0, and my frames instantly jumped to like 100.
That nice. So
now that tends to be also real quick. That tends to be a problem in the world where we have multiple devices. If you set it to one thing on one device, it tends to remember that setting and then crush the handheld. It boots up.
It's such an issue.
Yeah. It's definitely like developers have to think about this forwarding this in this new world that we're in, where you're going to be playing multiple places. Because I understand that they designed it for convenience, but sometimes it's not. Like they should give you the option. Do you want to save these settings for any device that you log on in the future? Yes or no? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I will tell you that I also installed the update on my eGPU. And
keep going. I'll be right back.
And it was working perfectly fine. I jumped on 1440p. I jumped from about 90 frames. All of a sudden, I was getting like 131. So the fluid motion frames definitely works. I'm really interested in testing it out in different games to see kind of like the performance jump that you get. But I also saw like a video on ETA Prime this past weekend, which actually Asante provided our chat in Discord with, and he had Spider-Man running at about 90 frames, man, with fluid motion frames, and it looked, and from what he said, it was running pretty smooth. Lucius, you got any experience with fluid motion frames yet?
Yeah, so there was like I said, I specifically upgraded my drivers so that way I could get AFMF. And there was a period of time, it was like a short period, it was like a day, when I could be on the newest drivers. Everything was working. Everything was really nice. Everything looked good. I was able to use AFMF, and everything was running fantastic. And then Dragon Dogma 2 came out, and a new driver for Dragon's Dogma 2
it just crushed you.
You know what?
Oh yeah.
I'm not even gonna play Dragon Dogma 2, but you have a straight right there, right? Don't you?
I do.
10, 9,
I think
8,
I do.
7,
Hold up.
6, yeah. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
Oh, nice.
There you go.
Good.
I love this game.
Very nice.
Go ahead, keep going.
No, I want to see this straight go through. Bang. There we go.
Well, you didn't see my last straight? I had a full house, the whole thing. I'm doing my thing. Oh yeah, I did have a full house. That's right. So there you go.
Yeah, I am paying attention.
I love this game. It's so good.
Fantastic. I actually forgot what I was talking about. I got so focused on
you said you enjoyed you had great drivers, and then of course the scourge that is Dragon's Dogma 2.
Dogma 2 came into everybody's life, and I'm not even playing that game. Meanwhile, I update the drivers, and it's just like, well, worst mistake of my life, because now my choices are either the newest drivers, which are kind of breaking, or drivers from oh, you have a flush. Nice. The clubs. You have 5 clubs.
I see the clubs. Yep.
Or drivers from months ago. What I really like about NVIDIA, when I used to play on the NVIDIA side on my desktop, it's before my desktop kind of got old. You could go back to previous drivers on the NVIDIA side, and everything would be good. If you ran into some sort of weird issue. At least when it comes to right now, I can't find some of those older drivers that I need. That it could be like, what can I do the driver right before Dragon's Dogma 2 came out? Because that one was where I was getting AFMF, everything was working. It wasn't weirdly configured, but I can't find it right now. But outside of that, AFMF is great. The one time that I had the ability to use it, I used it on Starfield. And I already had configured my settings on Starfield to get me around 50 frames a second. So like going from that to like 100 was pretty insane.
Awesome.
But one of the things that you mentioned, John Wolf, is that the input delay is definitely isn't
noticeable.
Right, like so you have to use anti-lag, which is part of their like processing thing, to be able to really maximize it, because the input lag that you get from it increases. So you have to use anti-lag to be able to decrease that input lag, but it still doesn't feel the same. And I feel like this is a very
it feels a little fake. Am I wrong? It feels just a little bit like, it feels like cheating. It looks like it's high, but it's not really that high. It's to the point where it's like, oh, don't look at your normal TDP and range settings, because they won't tell you the truth. Yeah, look at ours. You know,
it's very weird. It's like if you were getting 50 before, and then you try AFMF gets you to like 95 or 100, it feels closer to 70.
Yes, it does. Yep.
So that's kind of the biggest issue right now, and I think that it's only going to get better. So things like this, it's very new. It'll only get better as these things go along. I expect AFMF to get better and better and better and better in the future, and I'm excited for that, because now I don't have to wait for developers to bring in frame generation, or in a lot of instances, unfortunately, we're seeing more and more developers kind of fall apart, and they're the industry is definitely failing in a way that like some companies can't find a sustainable growth model. And in that scenario, those companies are never going to go back and add frame generation to their games, right? Because they're gone, they don't exist anymore. Correct. But with AFMF, that allows me to be able to do what's needed and puts me in the right situation, so that way, as my hardware gets better and as AFMF gets better, I can go back to those older games and maximize on all of that.
Right. And two things. The first thing is, Lucius, to piggyback off of what you're saying, I also think that it gives you longevity on your products, which I like. I like the fact that even though that it's cheating and it's fake or whatever the case may be, for the average user that can kind of get over it, it kind of buys you more time. And then the second thing is, you convinced me to buy this, Kay Asante. I will be purchasing this game today. This looks really, really good.
It's fun, right? It's awesome. And it's not a card game.
Yep.
It just uses cards. But like the jokers are the kings. The jokers are the ones that really make things happen.
Yep.
I haven't really messed with the other cards as much. This is so much fun. You have to play it anyway. So by the way, we are at about an hour 30. I think we should round out this episode a little bit. Lucius, I guess my last question to you, sir, is how do you see yourself? And take all the Xbox. I know you're for a long time you've been a console main, and now you're kind of traversing more into the PC realm for reasons. We can talk about that another time.
We got him back.
Stop it, sir. I guess my question to you is, how do you see this breaking out? Are you a reluctant PC gamer now because of those reasons? Yes. Or are you seeing benefits here?
I mean, there's always benefits. I've always known the benefits to PC gaming. I've always enjoyed them. And like I said, I've been playing video games on PC since like Chips Challenge, old school Minesweeper.
Shout out to the Chip Challenge, baby. I love that game.
Right? So I understand what kind of that ecosystem is like, and I was building PCs when I was a kid. So like I'm not new to this game. That being said, I enjoy being a troglodyte in the same way, in the way that like we make fun of console troglodytes and it's blah blah blah. But there is
what he's saying is he enjoys missionary gamer.
Oh, come on, Lucius.
I enjoy the ability to get off of work and immediately launch something and know that it's going to work to some degree, right? I don't have to be concerned about this is, Microsoft's certification system is a double-edged sword in the way that like it's fantastic that I can be assured that these games are going to work, but that also means that sometimes Xbox games take longer to be able to come out in comparison to,
you know what you call that, right? That is the cyberpunk cautionary tales, what you're describing right there.
Yeah.
And you also have to settle, that if the developer wants to lock it at 30, you're stuck. And you gotta take what they give you.
That's one of, and see, here's the thing. For me, I embrace this new handheld, and I hope that it's not just a fad, right? Because I really do believe that.
I don't think it is.
I really believe that handheld gaming is the wave. It is what gaming is going to become in the future. So because of that, I really want it to succeed. So
you want me to tell you why I think that it will succeed and why it is the future? Because if you think about how more and more people just look at your own use case and look in your homes, how many people are really still on their TVs more than they're on their phones? I bet you that the phone usage outweighs the TV usage by a lot. And I think that ideally, the dream, ever since I was little, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, the dream has always been take your games everywhere with you. Has that not been one of the dreams? So for gamers, it's very enticing. Like, let me give you a quick 20-second story. This past weekend, my cousin was asking me about possibly getting into PC gaming because he said that he had nothing. He hasn't bought a game in a long time on his PlayStation. There's been nothing. So he wanted to play Undisputed, the boxing game. And he was asking me, hey, is that ever coming to PlayStation? I said, I'm sure it is, but who knows?
Maybe.
Maybe yes, maybe no. But why have you never looked at PC gaming before? And I started telling him about all the perks or whatever. And I told him about the handheld craze. And guess what? Now he's looking into the Lenovo Legion Go or the Asus ROG Ally. He's looking at one of those two. So I also told him about the Steam Deck, but he didn't seem too interested in it. But he said, I can definitely see the appeal here because he has two little ones. And when I told him about him just being able to sit on the couch and play these games, his mind was blown away. He had no idea.
This is why, although I have the liquid cooled melting face graphics here, I have the awesome what do you call it? The Xbox Series X on an OLED. You'll more often than not find me on this little handheld here, especially if I may be playing the devil of Stellar Yams and I don't need to explain myself to the kiddos during the day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is why.
I would really, and this is the thing that I think Slow-Mo didn't understand.
Hey. Don't call out the man when he can't defend himself.
Oh, we got Slow-Mo slant. Come on, slander. Here we go.
But he admitted on multiple occasions that he is not necessarily like a handheld like fan.
And that's fine. Yeah.
He bought a Steam Deck. He returned it or sold it.
Yes. He threw his Switch into Lake Minnetonka, he said.
Yeah. So I completely understand.
MJ Dark went to go get it.
Oh man, you already have it. Great. Jack 10
I know.
987. Crazy. Getting lucky. But he was saying like, oh, well, this handheld, it better be able to do more than 1080p when it's and I was like, well, you aren't even having like, we need to even have a conversation about the whole will it docked versus won't it docked, and will you get more performance from dock? And I tried to explain all that to him.
That may not be the case. It may like it almost like to have a dock, but I don't know if the dock will cause more performance. I don't know about that. That's the part that people assume, and I'm just like,
outside of AI cores potentially helping with upscaling, I don't necessarily seeing like, I think that the handheld is probably going to be the S variant. And most likely, if they think that it's worth it, they will also have an X variant, which is
absolutely a standard console.
And most likely what it'll be, just like the Series S and X, it'll be the same exact CPU that's inside of the handheld, but now it's going to be getting more power,
clocked higher,
clocked a tiny bit higher. They probably don't want to clock it too much higher because you don't want too much of a differentiation between the two models when it comes to CPU. But on the GPU side, now you can provide way more power for the GPU, put in way more GPU cores, X, Y, and Z. And price-wise, they'll probably be similar in price because on one side, you have to put in more GPU cores and you may have to put in like more RAM. But on the other side, you have to put in a screen and a battery and like
a lot of stuff. Absolutely,
a lot of different things. So price-wise, they're probably going to be very similar price-wise next generation.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The question that I have is, are we going to have that Trojan horse in the same way that we had the Xbox One S all digital edition, the Xbox One SAD is what a lot of people called it. But that Xbox One S all digital, that was there to test out the waters, to see if people would even be interested in
well, Lucius
to see if people would be interested in a console without a disk drive. I don't know if it's that simple to do that sort of test right now, because you would have to miniaturize what's inside of the Series S. You'd have to put in a lot of work, and I don't know if you want to put in that much work to release a product.
Can I say something?
Can I say something? Not with another product 2 years from now.
I think, me personally, I think it's important for them to do it this year. And this is selfishly, of course, because I just want something new. But I think it's important for them to do it. Why? Because if they allow the Super Switch to outshine them or outdo them, then you already have people migrating over to the Super Switch. And when you can already capture them by releasing a portable Series S this holiday. So I think that they should take advantage of Nintendo pushing back their launch, and perhaps if they have this planned to release that Series S portable device this holiday, and then eventually, next generation is when we're going to see the Steam stuff and all that stuff.
Here's the problem that I have with
Lucius, you can get the last word. Go ahead.
Yeah, the problem that I have with it releasing this year is a lot of the stuff that is necessary to make that device work and make it so that way you have a good battery life, specifically like on the CPU side and everything. Those are things that are not out yet. Those are things that come out soon, but unless Microsoft is paying top dollar to be able to
take next gen tech and bring it in today,
there are going to be some complications there. And obviously the Fox has gotten more into detail regarding what the intricacies of that would really look like, which is primarily like making wider lanes, giving the full 256-bit rather than a 128-bit. Because right now, even with the iGPUs that we have right now, I'm pretty sure with a wider lane, they would probably operate 20% faster, because right now our GPUs are being choked in this APU form factor, because there's not enough power and there's not enough throughput for any of the data to really go through the way that they want it to. So the benefit really comes later on if you can potentially get something that has a higher throughput. But once again, that stuff not coming out until this year, maybe at the end of this year, if not the very beginning of next year. So what are the chances that Microsoft is going to pay top dollar for something that is essentially going to be a Trojan horse test bed play? I don't know.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people seem very confident that it might come out this year. So maybe I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but I'm not so confident. I'm not so confident. I know it's coming, but I'm not so confident.
Okay, then let me just ask this. Then what is the holiday thing that they're gonna announce? Is it the white Series X?
There's a bunch of games. Maybe we get a Series X. Maybe we get a bunch of games.
No. But like, Sarah Bond specifically said we have hardware news this holiday.
Absolutely. And then they have a next gen. She said both. She didn't say that we're having next gen this holiday. They have a hardware to announce, and then there's a next gen. But so that means that's next year.
Series X. That's all that it is. It's not going to be very exciting.
Yeah.
Maybe at best it has 2 terabytes. So that's cool. But outside of that, I don't really. I don't.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think it's going to be interesting, but I don't foresee people getting their wigs blown back because it's here. You're gonna have to get used to the games you're playing for now. Like, there will be exciting things out there, but I don't foresee them. Like, I hope they don't drop the handheld this gen, because if they do, then it'll become the 1X, which is it gets sort of kind of addressed, but it just joins the family. And more often than not, when it just joins the family like that, it won't get the shine it deserves.
I'll disagree because, and this is the last thing I'll say. I'll disagree because I think that they need to start letting, the Xbox community and gamers as a whole already get used to the idea that they're moving towards a handheld future. So this is how you do it. You don't do it all at once from the beginning. You say, hey, this is a different SKU that is basically a Series S portable, and then you can move them towards that. That's just me.
And how do you think developers will handle that? They already hate the Series S. Now you want 2 S's plus an X.
No, because the only
battery changes everything. It's not the same thing.
I got you. And again, I don't want to pretend that I know and I have all the answers. This is all I'll say. To me, it just using the simple explanation. It's the Series S version that you're playing, but it's locked down at 720p on your handheld. I don't know.
No, but see, here's the thing. Even if you were to do a internal versus external resolution change, where it's like internally it's resolving at 1080p, but then downscaling at 720p because of the screen, that you're still using the energy needed to push out or to have 1080p worth of pixels.
Battery is so key to this conversation. It's so key. And it changes everything.
With Zen 5, because
which is not out yet.
Between Zen 2 to Zen 5 will be so significant that you can scale the clocks down and still hit the performance target that you are typically getting on the Series S. All of this will be possible in somewhere between a year. But the question is Microsoft willing to pay the top dollar necessary to be able to get the thing that's going to come out in a year a little sooner, so that way they can do this little test bed thing? And I don't know if they're going to be willing to do that. I think that they're just going to.
We don't know.
There may be, and now don't get me wrong, there might be a Series SP right now that somewhat exists, that people are testing, right?
Oh yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
The question is, I'm about to
Stop it.
But
I'm waiting for this. See, here's the PC issues. Waiting for the shaders to finish compiling. Continue.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I'm concerned about is, are you going to put in the effort to be able to create a good product this time, only to create a better product in 2 years? I don't know if that's something that you want to do.
This is the point, right? You don't want to do that because it's wasted R&D.
Right? There's gonna be one. Like we at this point, if you know for a fact, if you are locked in that there will be a handheld in 2026, then I would surmise, do all the testing that you need internally, but do not release a handheld until 2026. So just make the PC handheld.
So this is my final word. Exactly what you're describing, Lucius. Because of that, I say instead of releasing your hardware, release the software to everyone else's handheld this year. And let them be your test bed. And then next year, when you have the big dog, then you set the standard. But now that software has been matured through the ROG Ally, through the Legion Go, through anybody who wanted to install it on their device, and they're giving you feedback.
Imagine the year of hype of people talking about all this stuff. And in 2025, at the Keeleys, they announced, hey, next year in
their hardware.
This is the hardware that we're coming out with.
Well, I will also be fair and say that it's completely self-serving, because then I can run it on this baby right now. That's what I'm saying. Please do that. But anyway, I think we're about done here. Let me first and foremost really quick say thank you. This is the first time this has ever happened. Thank you to over 60 people on Twitter watching us. More people are watching us on Twitter than they are on YouTube right now. About 100 people watching us all.
And none of those are bots, by the way. So viewers,
bro, no, we're not doing that. Don't do that. Be nice. Anyway, be nice.
I'm just saying.
Be nice, please be nice. Anyway, I appreciate y'all for watching. Whether you're watching on Twitter or you're watching on YouTube, we appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. Consider joining our Discord. We have all these great chats on the Discord. The elusive one, the Koofy cat, is always there. We're always enjoying awesome conversations with him. So please join us. The Discord, the man John Wolf has put the Discord in the chat. Please do that. We appreciate you so much. Yes, there's a lot more handheld talks to go along. And yeah, this thing runs like butter even on a handheld. I've set everything to low, but I like running it around 40 FPS, and it's just like great. You get the benefit of performance. And the battery is also still good. So I really enjoy running it.
FPS is the unsung hero of handhelds.
There's a man that knows what he's talking about. There's a man who knows what he's talking about.
Because honestly, unless it's a shooter, now a shooter, obviously 60 FPS,
sure,
you're definitely going to want that. But outside of a shooter, 40 FPS is the sweet spot. It is so perfect.
Yes. So before I start playing this, I will say, Mr. Elusive One, sir, we appreciate you being here. Where can people find you?
Don't find me. Don't look for me. Don't even try to look for me.
Oh man.
If you want to have conversations, I can sometimes be found in the Discord. So if you want to find me there, you can find me there. Please don't look for me anywhere else. I don't want to be found.
There you go. We call him the Elusive One for a reason. Mr. John Wolf, sir, how about you? What are you doing this week?
Nothing much, Kay. Kay, Lucius, great show, man. I had a really good time here. Thank you all for putting up with my foolishness. Just Twitter, Discord, and I'll be playing Yakuza 0. Thanks to Lucius. That's what I'll be playing this week.
You know what? Enough of me always producing, coming with the video. I expect video recorded so we can show it on the next show. How about that? Record some footage. I want to see that.
Okay, that's a deal.
Fantastic. As for me, you'll find me Wednesdays on Double Barrel Gaming. I'll be there on Boom's channel. Come check us out. I'm sure more drama and slander between now and then, so there'll be a lot to talk about. And then, of course, on Saturday, GCP is back with myself, Mr. Everborn Saga. It's going to be fun. We always keep it interesting. And of course, you know this because a lot of people have come in and have come support, and we really appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. Again, don't forget to hit that like button. If you like it, please consider subscribing. Join the Discord. We always enjoy folks in the Discord. We always have a great time there. And maybe even consider being a member if you can, because you support the channel. And oh, by the way, I'll be heading to Gamescom this year. Bringing a camera with me. Gonna be talking to people. Maybe get a chance to meet some developers, and I'll bring y'all along with me and shoot some footage there as well. So thank you guys for continuing to support us. MJ Dark, before we go, with a $2 super chat, he says, I know John Wolf will be a Legion this weekend. LOL. I will leave on that note. He will not have a chance to reply, because I will say he is a fraud, ladies and gentlemen. He is the one man. Hold on. He is the one-man band sitting here with the freaking the ROG ally, and then secretly, what does he do? He goes and picks up a Legion Go. Oh yeah,
it was not in secret. It was not.
Oh yeah, you didn't tell me, did you? I had to find out third party. I'm just saying.
Hey, I was gonna tell you on the show. You didn't give me a chance.
Sure. You fraud. Enough with the ROG ally slander, because we all know you are now a Legionite.
Hey, I'm just next time trying it
when
out.
You get the device, let us know how it works. See, I will actually even give you a little credit, because the Legion Go is close to this big dog that I'm playing with right now. Pause.
There you go.
Except it has terrible battery compared to my baby, so that's why I didn't get one. 64 milliwatt IR is what this guy has. I think that one's like 48 or 50, something like that. That's the reason why I didn't get it. Otherwise, I would have totally picked it up. Now, the thing that I think is weird from you picking up the Legion Go is it's the exact same APU as the ROG Ally. You're not getting any benefits.
No, I got it for specific reasons.
It does run.
Is it? Even though it's the same exact APU?
Yeah, I think that the
cooling is a little different.
Cooling is a little better because it's larger chassis.
Oh, and it also has better RAM. I think it has a little higher clock speed.
Yeah, the clock speed and the RAM is a little better.
But I got it for different reasons, which we'll talk about next Monday.
Okay, excellent. I appreciate you for being the test bed. You could be the guinea pig, if you will, and test it out and let us know. Let us know why.
All gamers
I don't want to buy it.
Pay pigs. All gamers are frauds and pay pigs.
Hey! Speak for yourself. I am no pay pig, sir. I am cash rich, time poor. Anyway,
right.
On that note,
went on vacation and needed a handheld and resorted to the Asus ROG Ally. Sure.
And it's been collecting dust ever since I came home. On that note, it's been fun. It's been slanderous. We'll speak to y'all next week. Peace.